Darkness clung to me, suffocating, heavy. I tasted iron, thick and metallic. Where was I? Panic swelled, a living thing in my chest. I reached out, fingers meeting only cold, damp air. My heart hammered against my ribs. Each beat echoed in the silence. The air hung thick, a suffocating blanket of dread. Fear, sharp and cold, pierced through the fog of confusion. This wasn't right. This wasn't real. The darkness shifted, swirled. Faces began to form in the shadows, grotesque and distorted. Their eyes, burning embers, watched my every move. Silent screams stretched their mouths into horrifying smiles. I choked back a sob, tried to turn away, but the faces were everywhere, closing in, whispering my name. Their voices, a chorus of whispers, sent shivers down my spine. "They're coming for you," they hissed, just like they came for us. Their words, laced with venom and sorrow, clung to me, dragging me down into the abyss of their despair. I stumbled back, hands searching for purchase in the endless darkness, but there was nothing. Only the suffocating blackness and the accusing eyes of the shadows. My bare feet met something cold and sticky. I looked down. Blood pooled on the floor beneath me, reflecting the ghostly faces back at me. A scream caught in my throat, choked by terror. The metallic scent intensified. Nausea churned in my stomach. The faces in the shadows seemed to grin wider, their eyes gleaming with morbid satisfaction. This was my fault. They were here because of me. Section 5. A symphony of screams. A child's scream pierced the darkness, high and thin. It clawed at my ears, ripping through the suffocating silence. My blood ran cold. I knew that scream. It was a scream that haunted my waking nightmares. The faces in the shadows were gone, replaced by a single figure, small, fragile, standing at the end of a long, dark corridor. It was her, the little girl with eyes that mirrored my own. Section 6. The man with empty eyes. Behind her, a shadow unfurled, taking shape. A man. Tall, imposing. His face was obscured by darkness, but his eyes burned with a cold, malevolent light, the light that haunted my every waking moment. The little girl turned, her face a mask of terror. She reached for me, her voice a choked whisper, "Help me!" But her words were swallowed by the darkness, lost in the suffocating silence that pressed in on all sides. Section 7. Trapped in the mirror. I ran towards her, desperate to reach her. But the darkness stretched, an insurmountable chasm between us. I was trapped, frozen in place, forced to watch as the man with the empty eyes closed in on the terrified child. The metallic scent intensified. The blood on the floor pulsed, a living thing. I screamed, a raw, primal sound of fear and despair, but my voice was swallowed by the darkness, lost in the echoing silence. Section 8. The endless corridor. The man's laughter echoed around me, cold and cruel. It bounced off the walls, a chilling counterpoint to the child's terrified whimpers. The corridor stretched before me, endless and dark. A labyrinth with no escape. I was trapped in this nightmare, forced to relive this moment of horror over and over again. The weight of their pain, their fear, threatened to crush me, to drag me down into the abyss. Section 9. A glimmer of light, then a light, a pinprick in the distance, growing larger, brighter. Hope surged through me, a lifeline in the sea of darkness. I ran towards it, my lungs burning, my legs screaming for respite. The laughter faded, the whispers died down. The faces in the shadows disappeared. Only the light remained, beckoning me forward, promising release from this living nightmare. Section 10. Gasping for air. I woke with a gasp. My body was slick with sweat, my heart hammering against my ribs. The darkness of my room was almost comforting in its familiarity. The real world, my world, safe. The nightmare lingered, a phantom touch on my skin, the scent of blood, the sound of screams, the man's empty eyes, all of it imprinted on the inside of my eyelids, a legacy of fear, an inheritance of pain.